What's up everybody, this is Kincaid from Push, and today I'm going to teach you how to do a tantrum behind a boat on your wakeboard. So before you get into the tantrum, you will need a couple prerequisites. Chances are this or the back roll will be your first invert on a wakeboard. I personally find the tantrum to be much easier, but I actually learned the back roll first. Anyway, let's get right into it. So for the prerequisites, you're going to want to be able to do clean, comfortable, and real consistent heel side wake to wake jumps. You want to be comfortable on your board for sure and not have any trouble clearing that wake. I would also highly recommend knowing how to do a backflip on a trampoline or off a diving board or off a cliff, whatever it may be. You want to know how to flip before you do this. It's not impossible to learn it without having flipped before, but it's something I would highly recommend, and access to a trampoline generally isn't the hardest thing to find, so go ahead and learn your backflip there first. And you're also just going to need the ability to commit. If you haven't done a lot of action sports or haven't flipped around a lot, it might be a little scary at first, but just know that if you commit, tricks tend to go way, way, way better than if you don't, and you're much less likely to get hurt. So, comfortable wake to wake, having done a backflip before, and the ability to commit is pretty much the prerequisites for this trick, so let's talk about how to do the tantrum. So the tantrum is actually a pretty unique trick on a wakeboard in that it doesn't require much pop off the wake, but rather a lot of people like to refer to it as tripping the wake. So as you can tell from the videos on screen, a tantrum is initiated with just a normal carve in, nothing too aggressive, just kind of as if you're about to jump the wake. And then right as you're approaching the wake, you're going to square up with the boat so that your body becomes parallel with the boat and you're going straight. It's a really weird concept. But so in that last 2 to 3 feet before you hit the wake, you're going to go from a heavy carve in to starting to square up. You're going to drop your back hand off the handle and allow your shoulders all the way down through your legs to square up and be parallel with the boat. And then as you hit that wake, you really don't need to think about a lot of pop. It's really more of a timing thing. Your backhand will be dropped and you'll be squared up. So as your heel edge hits the wake, kind of think about just letting the wake trip your edge and let you rise. There's no need to force it. Most of the time when I've seen people struggle with tantrums, it's from not squaring up or trying to pop too hard. It seems that a lot of people who are good at back rolls struggle a little bit with tantrums because they're expecting to have to pop. Whereas the tantrum, like I said, bit of a weird concept, but the wake will just kind of trip your heel edge and let yourself rise. You know, flip goes up, around, and down, so let yourself rise, and then you'll feel your board going over your head. And then the tantrum, it's actually super easy to spot your landing. You can see the water under you about halfway through the flip, so you know exactly if you need to open up a little bit to slow it down or bring your knees in to land it. And a tantrum's one that you can kind of come up a little short. As long as you get some of your flat base on the water, you can ride it out. I'll throw a clip up on screen that shows an example of this, coming up a little short and still riding it out. And also, this example is really good because it shows what not to do on the takeoff. In this particular clip, my buddy kind of forgot to trip the wake and really force the flip around. And as you can see, if you watch really carefully as he hits the wake, I'll put this in slow motion, you can see he really doesn't do the squaring up motion I mentioned, and he just kind of tries to force it around, and you can see he doesn't have a lot of height, and it's not the cleanest tantrum. And if you go back to my friend Todd watching his clips, you can watch as he squares up to the wake and lets that wake trip his edge over. He gets height, he's fully extended, and it's a super clean flip. So keep that in mind when you're learning this. Really be patient and think about the timing. Do not try to force this flip around. So that is pretty much it on the tantrum. It's a relatively straightforward trick. If you are struggling, focus on squaring up. And if you're not getting much height or not getting it all the way around, there's a good chance you're either trying to take off too early. I've seen that, where you get a little bit too antsy to take off and then you end up trying to flip early to where you're taking off at the bottom of the wake instead of the top, because like I said, that heel edge is kind of hooking into the wake. So wherever you square up and initiate the flip is where you're going to take off. So if you take off early, you're going to struggle with that. So be patient going up the wake, and then taking off late really isn't a possibility. It's just, if you look at the bad example I showed you, there was just no square up at all. So really those are the main two problems you might have with a tantrum. So focus on those two things if you're having issues. If you have other questions, feel free to leave a comment on the website, pushthelimit.com. That's the best place to reach me. And I'll also have tons of new tutorials up on the site soon. So go ahead and check out the website. Thanks a lot for watching, guys, and I'll see you soon with another tutorial. And thank you to Todd and Colin for letting me use tantrum clips for this tutorial.